Satang Prasanga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your family at this time. So today we're moving on to the next letter, and it's a letter to three people, Bharadraj, Jadurani Mataji, and Muralidhar Prabhu. So these three people are artists, and they were commissioned by Prabhupada directly to paint for the Krishna book and other books, Easy Journey to Other Planet. In today's particular letter, Prabhupada was guiding them to paint Narada Muni and things like that. And they were asking, if we want access to you, special, if we want access to you during a particular time, just to know if we're doing it right, then can we come? Can we call? Prabhupada says, yes, for you all special access because you all are doing a special service. So it's no problem anytime, or you can either write to me as well. So it's a very beautiful exchange. These devotees are natural artists. Bharadraj, I think I remember, he was one of the main artists instrumental in the Panchatattva. So very prominent people, and you can see by the guidance of Srila Prabhupada from that time, it was great learning that they received. So the letter begins as follows. Letter to Jadurani, Bharadraj and Muralidhar, Los Angeles, 4th of June 1970. So this is on the 4th of June 1970. We were seeing letters 68, 69 yesterday. Now this is 70. And this is Los Angeles. And Prabhupada's format in his letters, he writes the font of the date first, and then below that he writes it in numeric in the reverse, 76 of the 4th. So I don't know why he does that. Probably that's how he was trained. Scottish Church College, that's how they trained them to write letters. Maybe that is the way, I don't know. And then it says Boston, and then Prabhupada starts in his classic way by offering blessings. My dear Jadurani, Bharadraj and Muralidhar, please accept my blessings. I beg to thank you for your letter dated no. We've been talking about this, right? For the past 2 days or so, we noticed this in Prabhupada's letters that he's very, very particular about the date on it. And if you miss the date out, he lets you know. Yesterday, the other day, the letter was saying undated, Prabhupada was saying, and then the one to Madhuvisa Prabhu is saying undated, that you didn't include the date in there. So today he writes nil, dated nil. This is so sweet, Prabhupada's subtleties, but he makes you learn, and he's particular about these things. So much of their letter was based on their being commissioned to paint and things like that. So they were asking some questions on that. And then Prabhupada writes something special here. So we read on. Yes, I am very glad that temple arrangement in Boston is already being carried out and new devotees are joining. This is the success of preaching work. So when new devotees join, that's one of the ways you qualify success. These days not many people are joining full time. In my days, it was a big thing, especially university preaching was a big program, and people were joining tremendously. When I joined in Cape Town, we had 28 devotees in the temple, and the oldest was about 30 years old, I think. Yashomati Nandan Prabhu. Wonderful Vaishnava. Soft-hearted devotee. Very nice person. Soft-spoken. Very good mridanga player. Very good stamina. So at that time, success was who was joining, and a lot of youngsters joined during the middle to late 90s. Now we don't see that happening so much. The temples are very sparsely populated. It's more a congregational movement now, and they're growing more into, grihastas, those who work and support the temple and engage in Krishna conscious activities. Prabhupada is describing preaching work. Now he says here, preaching work means increasing the number of our family members. Ah, that's so nice, huh? That when we're going out there if you go to the Jagannath temple, especially in Puri, then they ask you, "Aapka gotra kya hai?" What is your gotra? So you have to give some name of your gotra. What line are you coming in? So we usually just say Achyuta Gotra. Achyuta Gotra is for ISKCON devotee. If you don't have we're 5th class, we don't have any Gotra. So Achyuta Gotra, Krishna's Gotra. So they okay, accept it. So Prabhupada says, preaching work means bringing family members, recruiting family members. Krishna is the head man in the family. Kartama Rishi means head man. So this is a very interesting concept. I've never heard of it before. Actually, this Kartama Rishi, yesterday I was reading in Rajasurya Sacrifice, in Krishna book. And there they talk about Agra Puja. Agra Puja. Agra Puja is done to the most qualified person in the assembly. So Maharaj Yudhishthir had consulted, and everybody unanimously said that Krishna is the most qualified person here. We see the same thing here in Mayapur at Advaita Acharya's house when he was inviting all the Brahmins and everyone, and then he invited Haridas Thakur. And there, in that situation, Haridas Thakur was the one who was given the prasadam first, the most qualified Brahman, above the Brahmanas, Brahmanical. There's a difference between being Brahmana and being Brahmanical. So higher than being Brahmanical is Vaishnavism, and that is Haridas Thakur, Agra Puja. So he says here, so we're reading today this about this Kartama Rishi. It's a title given to the head man. According to the Vedic system, so this is Vedic Sanskriti, Vedic culture. Kartama Rishi is asked in the morning by his wife what kind of foodstuffs he would like to take on that day. And the Kartama Rishi, or the head man of the family, will dictate some preparation, and that will be the accepted foodstuff for everyone on that day. So we see that he will put his request on that day, and everybody will take that kind of prasad on that day. Kartama Rishi. So Prabhupada is giving that example, and then he says here, similarly, our principle should be to act in a way as Krishna will feel satisfaction. So that is Krishna consciousness. We want to please Krishna. We all want to please someone. We're doing whatever action we're doing, it's motivated to please someone. The question is, who? So in Krishna consciousness, Krishna is the center. And because of that, we are motivated to please him. So Prabhupada says here, Krishna wants every one of the living entities to go back home, back to Godhead. So if we can induce even one person to understand that this material world is not meant for our living, our real home is in the spiritual world. And if we can convince this philosophy to even a single person, that is the success of our missionary activities. So you can see this is success now. To convince, to share Krishna consciousness with others. This is the philosophy. Prabhupada, I was hearing also, Prabhupada was saying in a lecture, philosophy is for the classes and Sankirtan is for the masses. Very poetic, very nice. Philosophy is for the classes, Sankirtan is for the masses. So those who are out there, everyone is our family member out there. So we are trying to help them come closer. We are trying to help them to come back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna is so pleased. Ya idam paramam guhyam. Krishna describes that person who preaches, who goes out and tells the other devotees about me, he is the most dear to me. Krishna says that person who preaches is most dear. Prabhupada then ends the letter by saying, hope this will meet you all in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So, wonderful, inspiring letter to start the day. Tomorrow is Balaram Purnima. I wish you all well. I think it's Raksha Bandhan as well. I'm sure you're preparing for that, all the traditional families. So have lots of love and have lots of warmth and relations with family members at this time. This is needed. Hare Krishna. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.